Welcome back, guys. We're here with another video for you guys. This is episode 3 of I Watch, She Watch. But for those of you that don't already know, this is the SoWatchPodcast. I'm your girl, Key.
I'm your girl, Treasure.
And guys, like I said, I Watch, She Watch, episode... Trust. Did I say that right? Today. Even worse. Actual, even second language, guys. Barely can even speak English. But like I said, episode 3. If you guys haven't already watched our first 2 episodes, the links will be down below. So in this episode, this is a movie that Tresh gave me, which if you guys had watched our last video on Valentine's Day that we dropped, again, if you have not watched it, link will be down below, where we talked about our top 3 favorite rom-coms. And Tresh enlightened us that she had a favorite rom-com that she never told me about. After I always share the movies I like with her, she kept this one a secret from me.
Okay, that's obviously not true. That's clearly not true.
So for her third episode, she made me watch Sleeping with Other People, which is literally, she said, is her favorite rom-com all time. I actually had an enjoyable time to watch it. I am not gonna lie, guys. It did take me a little bit longer.
A couple times.
I fell asleep a couple times, if you already know.
Not because the movie is boring. Let me just emphasize that. The movie is not boring. No. She's definitely just tired because she has a toddler.
Yeah. So. No. Yeah, that's definitely what it was. But as far as I had watched of it when my mother was watching it, so I actually, if you can kind of put 2 and 2 together, I probably only missed like maybe 10% of the movie between the 2 times kind of watching it.
Probably like
a little less. Yeah. So it counts as being watched. But again, Key always sleeping is like going to be a new hashtag, I swear. Did Key fall asleep in this movie? Yes or no? If you get the right answer, you get $1,000. Maybe sometime in the future, y'all. But let's get right into it. So, Sleeping with Other People. The actual cast. Oh my god, I don't even know if I said that. Starring cast members. So we have Jason Sudeikis, which if you guys have not already watched the movie with him, he's in a ton. He's actually hilarious. Love his sarcasm. And then we have Alison Brie, which she's the one that's married to Dave Franco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they produce like movies together now. Like big thing in Hollywood now. People produce movies, and now Jason Sudeikis actually he produces a show now, right? Ted Lasso. So very nice to finally watch this. When did this movie come out? Do you know?
No?
Don't know.
I think it was like, I honestly, don't quote me, I think it was 2000.
Okay, yeah, not too bad. No.
Between there.
Okay,
there.
All right.
And I was recommended to this movie by actually one of my ex's best friend's girlfriend, because I was talking to her about how I liked Friends with Benefits, and then she's like, oh, watch this one. This one's really good. And so it, again, is kind of like, it's kind of like the same as Friends with Benefits, except it has 2 people that are kind of falling for each other, but they're not even sleeping with each other as they're falling for each other. So it's kind of like a twist on it in a way. And so the reason I like this movie a lot, so when I first watched it, I was in school for filming and stuff, TV shows and movies, and it made me really keen on scripts and how to write them, because I was writing them all the time, and I was like, wow, this script is really, really good. And so when I was watching the movie, it was I liked the movie because at that point in time I was super into rom-coms, and then I was like, oh, this script stood out to me so much because I feel that I felt really struck with me, because it was a lot of things that were super true, even right at the beginning there, when he is chasing the girl out of his apartment because he banged her best friend, and then he's like, okay, you have 3 things, and it's okay, you don't actually want to be with me because you're doing this, and then it's oh, you don't actually care that I screwed somebody else, whatever, but it's because you guys females are always in competition with each other. Exactly. So it's actually that's bothering you. Yeah. And it's all those things, if you really pay attention to the script, it's all oh my god, that's so true.
It is so true.
And it's I don't know, therapy kind of in a way, makes you think, I think. So that's why I really, really liked it. But you never guess, because it's a comedy. So you never guess that there's some actual hard truth in there. Yeah. And then I also really like their chemistry, Alison Brie and Jason Sudeikis. I like their chemistry a lot. And
yeah, it definitely worked. Definitely worked. And I agree with you in terms of the script and what you were saying, because that whole thing about talking about what women actually want, and him actually breaking her down like, hey, no, let's find out the real problem here, because it's actually this, and that. And you yourself don't even know that it's actually this, and that. And, like, that type of thing, right? So it's one of those things that, 100%, I like that a lot. And I, that, like, right off the bat, I was like, oh, okay, like, haha, oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
So I was really into the movie from, like, the very, very, very beginning. And, you know, again, it reminded me a lot, again, of Friends with Benefits, right? Because it reminded me of that moment in Friends with Benefits when, Dylan and Jamie, like Justin Timberlake, Mila Kunis, whenever he said to her that part about whenever she was up on the roof and he was pissed at her, she's like, oh, I'm not even your boyfriend, like, you're talking to, and all this stuff like that. And it was like, everything he was saying, you know, he wasn't wrong about what he was saying because it was 100% true, but it just came off like he was just being mean in the way how he was saying it, because she wasn't ready to hear that actual type of truth type of thing, which kind of reminded me of that situation with this girl. But except for the only difference is that part was like at the very end of the movie in Friends with Benefits. This was like right at the beginning.
It's so like right, yeah.
And it already kind of hit you. You're
like
that
3 minutes
reality.
in it. Yeah.
And I was like, I remember whenever after that scene, and then she pushed him in the road and he got hit by the car. I was like, oh! I was like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. Thank goodness he only broke his arm. But I was like, could you imagine if a girl actually did that? Damn. Interesting to say, because obviously, like, as we're going to talk about the movie now, we can kind of get into, like, how the story kind of starts here. So we have Alison Brie, but her name in this movie is Lainey. Or she goes by Lainey. That's not her real name. Her real name's Elaine. So she goes by Lainey. You know, you kind of catch her beginning of the scene, kind of like opening scene, like banging on some guy's room door, which happens, his name needs to be Matthew. What is the name? He has like a... Sowatchek. Anyways, banging on this man's door, like, trying to ring the man down to be like, let me in, because she's like, I really want to sleep with you. And meanwhile, she's in, like, a whole, like, men's college dorm, so all these guys are, like, looking at her like, what is wrong with this girl? Mind you, my girl is looking hot. My girl is dressing skimpy. We got the little, what do you call it? The school little kilt, like, up. You can see my girl's hoo-ha, everything. She was looking hot. And she banged on this guy's door, like, where are you? Like, I'm ready to get this on. And it's, like, funny because I'm looking at all the other guys there. I'm, like, wondering, like, why aren't any of the guys going to go pick this girl up?
Because
like,
she looks deranged.
She looks, like, she's, like, crazy.
Because she looks crazy.
So then you kind of have, I guess it's, like, the dorm advisor, how do you call those people that are the ones that make sure that they're in their room? Like, I don't know, the dorm enforcer, whatever, is basically like, hey, you need to leave. Like, you need to get out. You can't be in here unless you were, like, signed in as a guest. And then, you know, lo and behold, we have Jake, which is Jason Sudeikis, is like, comes up to her defense, doesn't mind you guys, he doesn't know her. And it's like, oh, hey, she's my guest. And basically Keith lets her stay on the floor. So then he kind of brings her into his dorm room and is like, hey, so, like, what's going on? Why are you kind of acting crazy? He's like, oh, yeah, I was supposed to be sleeping with this guy. And he's kind of like, what? You're sleeping with this guy? He's like a loser. Mind you guys, when you see this guy, he's like a dweeb.
No, so she wants to sleep with him, though. She wants to sleep with him. She wants to lose her virginity to him.
Weird.
And
I don't get it.
He's just basically like, what? That guy's a loser. Like, you need to find other things to do. And then basically they end up talking, and lo and behold, they lose their virginity to each other. Now, when you fast forward, it kind of is like a time jump, and immediately you get the impression that, okay, this guy is somebody that's learned his target. And I say that because it gives off the vibe that he's like a player in a way, or he doesn't settle down at all. And he, you know, is with, he's like with multiple people, but he makes all of them feel like maybe they could have something. And so you kind of get that right away. And then when we meet Lainey, we see that she is basically still psychotic. So, like, there's a time jump between Jake and how he was when he was a kid, and, like, he was really different. And then you see the change. And then with her, she stayed the same. Like, she was still basically psychotic.
Yeah.
And
over the same guy.
Yeah. So it's like 10 years later.
And she's still going after the same guy.
And then they end up going to a Sexaholics Anonymous, and they end up meeting each other after 10 years. And then she decides that they should just be friends because they both can't handle relationships. She can't handle a relationship because she has to try and get over Matthew Sowatchek. the hottest guy, and I'm joking, has to get over him, and
if we can find a picture of him, it will be right here, and you guys will understand what I'm saying about complete dweeb.
The actor is obviously not they made him that way for the movie.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
And we have Jake, and he doesn't want to be in a relationship, but we don't know why. We learn it later, but we don't know why right away.
Yeah.
And it honestly, I kind of like this movie as well, because it was like he was falling for her. Well, because he already fell for her, right? But like he was like re-falling for her like the whole time.
Yes.
Versus her, basically, like I don't think she looked at him in that way, because she was just so broken that she was like, okay,
all about
we're friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I really liked it because it was like you could see him falling for her, and like he did it first, and it's like refreshing because that never happens ever. Yeah. And again, you get like a lot of like. He's, like I said, he really learns his target, which is women, and he really knows how they are. So, like, again, you have another point in time whenever he's teaching her how to have an orgasm while masturbating.
Yeah.
And he's teaching her to do this because he knows, because he made sure he studied, he made sure, like, he keeps these women satisfied, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And we have her kind of seeing what, like, a guy is like with, like, he cheats, but he doesn't cheat because he makes sure the women know that he's not committing to them, which is different than the guy that she fell for.
Yeah.
So she's kind of viewing like another guy and being in close proximity with him emotionally of like, okay, this is normal. Like this is like what is ideal kind of. Yeah. And so as the movie kind of goes on, they're both tested with like dating other people and how the other person's going to react. And again, like I said, he fell for her kind of first. So, like, you see him getting more upset about things. And you don't really see her having a reaction. Like, she's kind of okay with him being overreactive in a way. But I think also because it makes her, like, feel good. And she's like, oh, okay, like, oh, you're jealous. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about it. Like, let's be adults. And again, I kind of like that, too. Like, I liked both of their characters, even though she is a little bit unhinged.
Yeah, it was like... It was, but yeah, it wasn't too much, though, because I find, like, in some movies that they have, like, the girls that are unhinged, and it's just, like, too much, that it makes it very hard to
like,
watch
she's not crazy in the sense of, like, she's, like, a crazy girlfriend. Like, she's just more so, like, super emotionally attached, if that makes sense. Like, she's not, she doesn't need to go to an asylum.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy because she's so emotionally attached to him, but he's never, ever, like, claimed her to be anything but just the side piece, like literally. So, which is like the craziest part about this whole thing. For like, I guess it was how much is the time jump? 10 years, right?
Yeah,
10 years. Just still like I don't get it, because mind you, she could have got like there's guys that are hitting on her and that like her and all that, and she's still focused on that. Mind you, the craziest, funniest thing about this movie at the very beginning, other than the fact that Jake gets pushed into get hit by a car, is the fact that she tells the boyfriend that she cheated on him 16 times. Like, the fact that she knew the number exact, I was dying, because I'm like, you're gonna just say, oh yeah, I've been cheating on you, and just left it. My girl put the number.
I had an affair. Like, you could just say I had an affair because that means more than once. But no, instead
my girl said 16.
Like, 16. But I think like I think another reason why I love this movie is because there was a lot of things in here. Again, like, I went to school for like writing and screenwriting and everything, so I kind of know, but there's a lot of like tricks that the writer used that told you things without telling you, if that makes sense. Yeah, so like true. Her knowing 16 times, you know, immediately just by that one line, you know immediately that she is obsessed with this person is super important, this person's always on her mind, for her to count and know about it. Because most, like I said, we just said, another person would just say I had an affair and it was I did it more than once, or I was the mistress of somebody else, I'm sorry, but like she was like, no, 16 times, very meticulous, this day, like, you know, so meticulous. it tells you a lot.
Yeah, she was very...
Like, they use, like, really clever devices
like,
in the movie to tell you stuff.
Yeah, that she was, like... Because she, like...
And I appreciate that. Like, I picked them all up and cherished them.
That was great. No. Like, super meticulous, to say the least, that she knew it was 16th time. And, yeah, just to add on to the fact of her, like, what you're saying about how you knew that she was, like, obsessed. Because even when she goes in to see him, that was, quote-unquote, supposed to be the last time, she's, like, shaking, like, can you please delete your number from my phone because I can't. That is like, wow. Yeah, it's like a whole different,
exactly. Again, like explains like how emotionally and like illogically attached she is, and she is like, okay, you need to delete it because that's the smart thing for me to do, but I need to hand that control to somebody else. Yeah. Because I don't have it over you. You have it over me, so you need to do it.
Did she ever say what? So my thing missed, why did she actually, this guy, why?
Okay. Like, I feel like this is like one of like the most common questions about this whole movie, and to me personally, I have my answer, but I also feel like, you know, movies are also kind of open to interpretation. Oh yeah. But for this movie, to me, I think you fell asleep. So, at the end, after she's trying to settle the lawsuit between Matthew and Jake, and she goes to the office and she goes, "Come on, let's settle the lawsuit, please. Like, he's offering you a lot of money." Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "Please tell me you didn't plan this." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "I didn't. I swear." And she's like, "He's offering a lot of money," and he's just like, "Okay." And she basically is just like, he's like, "Oh, what? So you're threatening me? Like, if I don't end the lawsuit, mm-hmm. What, you're gonna go and tell my wife?" And she's like, "I don't have to do that. I just tell her what I know." And mm-hmm. he's like what? And she's like, again, going into fine detail about all the things that she remembers about him, about all the personal things, like, "I know that you'll kiss me behind my ear whenever you're putting my coat on." Like, that's a super specific thing. That's, like, not everybody does that. Mm-hmm. And she says, "And the time you made me yours, when you said, 'I wish I had known you when I was a little girl, because then I would have been your first true love.'" Oh, jeez. And just by her saying that, I think that was finally, like, the golden, like, okay, that's why you love him, because he told you that, probably, like, you know, he probably read that line somewhere and made it up and and then told every other hoe that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But she took it like, oh, okay, like, we had something, and then, like, you know, he was probably nice to her. Again, he was teaching her. It was, like, somebody older, I feel like, because that was her TA or whatever. Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, they're getting closer and closer, and she's, like, looking at this older guy, right, and he says something to you like that, mm-hmm. and you're, like, still vulnerable, right? Like, she hadn't even lost her virginity yet, you know? So it's probably her first year of college and whatever, and then she's meeting this guy, and mm-hmm. he says something like that, I would be taken too. Like, true. Okay. And, makes you know, sense. I'm not, obviously, there's some also, like, okay, we clearly don't know about her mental health aside from loving him at all, mm-hmm. but we do know that she has panic attacks and stuff like that. Yeah. So we do know that she does have, like, some type of, like, mental health issues, whatever. So having a guy that says something like that to you, I kind of understand that why it, like, stuck. Yeah, I get it. So yeah, and then obviously too, right? He's playing with her this entire time. Yeah, like, no, he's giving her just enough to show that he cares, but not enough for her to feel like she fully has him. And that's the chase, right? That's what everybody loves. Everybody loves that game. That's why people do it all the time. Like, and so he's been doing it with her for 10 years, and I'm pretty sure it was one of those things where, like, it lapsed. Like, she probably didn't realize it was 10 years of that, like, just saying it out loud. It was just forth. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So. Yeah. Like, waiting for the day for him to be like, okay, I want you to be my exactly. Like, she was there in the waiting and the wings and everything like that, but, like, they were constantly playing this game where they would probably, like, not talk and talk again and whatever. And then he'd message her, and he'd always come to the office. Like, he was always pulling her in a little bit, whatever, and then letting her go, and it was, like, the push and pull that you get addicted to, and I think that it was, like, she was in love with him, but I think the game was what she became addicted to more so. And so that's what I took away from it. Okay. And that's what that line told me. That makes sense. Okay, so I did see that part in the first part when I had watched it when Mother was watching. So, okay, so that's not bad. So, okay, so, but I did say, like, there was a lot of parts in the movie that I really did like. Like, I really liked the part at the Jake's friend's kid's birthday party. I love that part. You can when they're dancing? Yeah, like, you can definitely see that was, like, because, I mean, mind you, Jake's friends already liked her from the very get-go. Mm-hmm. Mind you, at the same time, like, she's comes off as, like, a very sweet girl, but she's not, like, it's completely different in the way of why you would like Jake as a character, because he's, like, very witty and, like, quick on his, like, and he's just funny and hilarious. Yeah. Her, she's not like that. It's just, okay, she's, like, a sweet person, I guess you can kind of really get with it. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, that scene was, like, really, like, for me, like, I was like, okay, yeah, I like her. I really, really like her character, because up until that point, I was like, I don't know about that part. And then, I mean, even in that scene, like, you could totally see Jake was getting, like, what do you call it?
jealous because one of the kids' parents like came up to her to try to hit on her and like ask her out, and Jake's like, seriously, you're really gonna hit on my friend and use your kid? I was dying because I wonder how many guys have actually used their kids to actually pick up a girl.
Honestly, like
seriously, that's funny.
This is so terrible to like watch this, and like again, like I'm watching it through like years, right? Because it's been my favorite movie, but like depending on like what's going on in my life or whatever, right, I'm gonna connect to different things that's going on in the movie at different times and stuff like that. Which is why I think honestly, like everyone rewatch movies, like depending on where you are in your life, like you're gonna pick up different things. I pick up new things every single time, and I watch the same 5 movies. Watching this now, and I was always like, are you kidding me? Like I agree with Jake whenever he's like, in case you might need it. Why would she need your number, bro? Like,
I don't
seriously,
need
are you a lifeguard? Like, why would she need your number? So like when he was like reacting like that, I got it completely, because it was like, literally, it was like literally
really funny.
But like the joke is that like I feel like it's realistic. Like, no, obviously, like the screenwriter wrote that in a way for us to be like, are you kidding? Like, ew, like, yeah, we agree with Jake. But it was also realistic in the fact that it was like, regardless of what he said, the fact that he was like tried to come and talk to her and use his kid, and she wasn't even into him, right? Like, she wasn't into him, and she was like, okay, yeah, I'll call him because I'm bored and I should try and move on, you know?
Yeah.
But that was as far as it went. Like, I don't think... And then she was like, oh, I haven't had sex in, like, a year, so whatever. Like, whatever happens, happens. Like, why would you ever use your kid? And I know, obviously, that happens all the time, but it was like, oh, God, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to go with that. So, what was a part that you thought needed work?
That needed, like, an improvement?
Yeah. Okay. Or, like, you weren't that drawn in, you were like, hey, why is that part in there?
Let's see. To be quite honest, there really wasn't a part in the movie where I was like, okay, it didn't belong, really. Okay, there's a part that I could have done without, and it would have been the part of, like, when he's doing the smush smash with
Paula?
Yeah, Paula, that's her name. Smush smash with her, and then he says her name.
Lainey?
Yeah, well, I was like, I get it, but I'm like, I didn't have to be in that way for me to, like, get it, that you're saying another girl's name, and that, like,
really? I feel like that was, like, really important.
Okay, fair. Like, for me personally, from how good the screenwriting was and how there was, like, little bits and pockets of things put in there that you had to be like, oh, shoot, that's what that meant. Okay, like what you were just explaining to me. That to me seemed a little too simple and too, like, not, like, it wasn't, for how good it actually was and creative, there's parts in that movie and how, like, how much intellect actually went into it, that it actually had to actually make you be, as a viewer, to be paying attention, like, to every word. And mind you, when I was watching this movie until I fell asleep, you had mentioned to me that this is a movie you're gonna have to what they're saying. So I'm paying attention to, like, what's happening, and I'm even still missing things. But I think if the next time I watch it, I'm gonna probably find something and tell you, guess what? I found this.
Yeah.
But that, to me, out of everything of how smart and creative everything was and how much intellect went into this,
it just seemed lazier than the rest.
That seemed very lazy, and there could have been, like, a better way.
Okay.
But you know how I am. I don't really like watching smushy smush smash scenes like that.
Okay.
So it was like,
there's one thing about this movie that I don't like, and it's all of the sex scenes. I honestly, I felt like I didn't like them because I'm like, they could have been better. Like, they could have at least turned me on, like some of them do in movies. But I wasn't really that turned on with any of these. However, I think that for me, this scene was important because, like we said, there are a lot of keys, and there are some keys that are harder to find.
Yeah.
That are gold, and then there's some keys that are copper. I felt like this one was like a copper key because it was like, okay, you need to move the story along for people that are going to look at it surface level, and then people that are going to look deeply. Okay. So the surface level was like, okay, yeah, he's in love with her. That was the whole goal, right? To say he was in love with her. He did it while he was with this girl that he was trying to get the entire time. Yeah. Or not the entire time, but like trying to get when he met her, right? To me, the golden key part of that was that, okay, we knew that he would already fallen for her because he got jealous of the guy, you know, et cetera, et cetera. He had already said to her, you know, he called her baby, whatever. There's all these copper keys, right? This one, the golden key about this part to me was when he's with this girl who's amazing, and she's like something different, right? and it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe if he had something different, then, you know, he could just fall in love again, and it's fine. And, like, she's not really the one for him, right? Because Lainey is different than all the other girls he dated, all the easy girls. But this one's different. She's not easy, even though she's sleeping with him right away. But, like, she's not easy. She's basically taking charge and being different to him. Yes, yeah. So the golden part to me was the fact that this girl is different. This girl's amazing. They had a good date, whatever. And he's still calling for Lainey to tell us, to me, that she's the one regardless. Like, it doesn't matter who I'm with. This girl's amazing, whatever. We got along super well. We have actually things in common. Yeah. And I want her for so long, and she's amazing. But Lainey is still the one. I'm still the one. Right. That was my golden key that I got from that scene. Okay. If anything, from you doing your explanation just now, a thought honestly just came into my head about that it basically, I guess at that point, it's being revealed that to him, every time he's sleeping with all these women up till, I guess as soon as he re-met Lainey, now 10 years later, that he's envisioning that it's her face on these people. Yeah. And then now it's like, he's like, okay. That's how I think that the copper key was. He was like, cool, and then all of a sudden, he just like let it go. Because he was able to keep it in that, okay, no, that's not her on the face. It's and that's why I think that's like the copper key, like, if you're doing it surface level, it's like, oh, okay, he probably always imagined her. Yeah. And then, like, it was, if you go deeper, it was like, Lainey is the one regardless. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And that's, like, what it's telling me. Seeing every single time. Yeah. But he's been able to kind of keep it in and not accidentally slip her name while he's doing stuff with other women. Even though he's envisioning it's them to get through it because he really wants to be with her. Yeah. And he just can't be at the time. Cool. See, I learned something right now on camera. With this skip writing. So, no, I mean, that was probably the only part. And like I said, for me, like, it was a nice... Okay, as much as I had mentioned that he's a dweeb, the guy that she's in love with and obsessed with, I only say he's a dweeb because it's like, guys, seriously, if you were going to see this in Hollywood, it'd be like, seriously, girl, like, you're hot, like, go find it. That's not even why I liked it, because it wasn't like she was after the hottest guy. Yes, that's exactly why she was after someone, and no one understood why, and it was like, oh, beautiful, I love that. That's actually because a lot of the time, how many times in, like, in the real world, how many times in the real world are we like, are you kidding? Like, why is my friend with that guy? Like, what the hell? You know? Yeah, yeah. And, like, even all these actors, like, Jason Sudeikis is not ugly, but he's not the hottest guy. Like, they didn't have Chris Hemsworth playing the guy, you know? They had two people that look regular, and yes, they're attractive in their own right, but they're not, like, super gorgeous. Yes. And everybody here was, like, super normal, you know? Yeah, like, realistic, like, a nice... different take on a realistic situation. Exactly. And it like makes it look like, okay, not only the really hot looking people win, and girls like chasing after them and falling over them, which is cool, which is what I was gonna say. As much as I'm like, hey, he's a dweeb, I'm like, okay, it was refreshing because it's not the simple the typical take of how Hollywood's gonna be with the hot, like the guy, the girl, right? Going back to the reference of like Friends with Benefits, both Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake were both voted like Hollywood's like hottest people in one thing of one magazine, whatever, at one point. These two would never have been put there, right? Yeah. Like Jason Sudeikis and Alison Brie, right? But I think they're both attractive in their own right. Yeah. In a sense. And I remember when I was telling you, when I found out that like years back that Jason Sudeikis was married to Olivia Wilde, and I was like, oh my gosh. They're divorced now, yeah. They're divorced now, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's like married to some loser, and I'm like, and then I remember you said that, and I was like, no, he's in. Remember, I said that? He's in that, and I'm like, loser though, because I was like, oh, I thought she was like so hot, right, back then, and I was like, and then the funny thing is, she went after him, not him going after her, which is what you would think. She went after him. Well, you know I think a lot of his personality is real. That's what I was gonna say. You know, like Ryan Reynolds' movies. I feel like he's not really playing a character. I feel like a lot of that's him, like him being so on point with like his sarcasm and like the wit and everything like that. Like comedy is also timing. Like if the actor doesn't have the like, you're not gonna find it funny. Yeah. But I feel like this is where Jason and Ryan, like I know them, have a lot in common, and they both are on par with the exactly with comedic timing. Yeah. And so. You know, funny people drop the drawers. Like, I'm telling you. I go for the funny guy all the time. Like, I'm naked. No, and, like, the thing is, like, someone like Jason Sudeikis, Ryan Reynolds, trying to come up with someone else that's... Kevin Hart, because Kevin Hart is not attractive. Yeah, like, these people that just have this great timing. I think
life with them, if you were married to them, would just be a ball, and you'd always be laughing, and you just don't know what's coming out of their mouth, which makes it so much more exciting.
Because even in We're the Millers, he's exactly the same person. Like, I can character. See it. I haven't seen Ted Lasso, so I can't comment on that. Yeah, but I've also seen him in... Is
he in that, or he just produced it?
I think he's in it.
Oh, he's in it.
And then I've also seen him in We're the Millers.
Right?
Same person, basically. Same person,
we just changed your actor name in it. It's not... you don't really see in those, but I guess that they're own rom-coms, so what growth are you really going to see? So we're literally asking to get...
But in Horrible Bosses, he's something completely different. Well, no, he's still a player, but I mean, like, he's not...
Oh, I didn't like him.
It's not a rom-com.
Yeah, I didn't like him in Horrible Bosses in that one.
I mean, I didn't like the movie, Horrible Bosses.
I didn't like the movie.
We'll maybe do that video, because I do not like that. I don't know how it got a part 2.
Yeah, I did not like that.
What are you rating this movie?
No, it was not bad. I would definitely watch it again, because I definitely missed some stuff in it. I would like to watch it again, so that means automatically your movie's getting above a 5. So, but I'm going to say, do I think it's better than Friends with Benefits, The Proposal? I can't give it that, but who knows? It could maybe get up there.
Maybe if I started picking up, you didn't pick up enough golden keys. Maybe I got a lot of copper ones.
Yeah, I got a lot of copper ones just because I guess the time I watched the movie, it was like after midnight, tired. I think I need to getting a 6 for me right now, but I can 100% say it would probably get to like a 7, 8 if I watched it again in its full.
Okay, that's fair. Because honestly, this is my favorite movie of all time, but like I said, I don't give anything a 10. So this movie is like a 9, 8.5 to me.
Okay, so you like it better than Bridgerton Season 2. You like it better than Bridgerton Season 2 because I think that's the highest movie you rate. And Look Both Ways. Actually, Look Both Ways you rated high too. So you like it better than both those movies.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, also too, keep in mind,
time,
Look
right? Both
Ways, which is the first one that she saw for IWYW, down below. I like that movie also because of the concept. Like, half of it was, like, the movie, and then half of it was, like, just the concept alone that I was like, okay, that gave it 3 points automatically, you know?
Okay, right.
And Bridgerton Season 2, if you haven't seen that, it's amazing. If you don't like, you know, old century stuff, trust me, because I don't really either, you'll get over it for this. Like, it's like...
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really good. Yeah.
It's really good. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, let's figure out what my next movie is to watch. I'm very nervous.
Stop saying that. My movies are not that bad, and I'm gonna pick.
They're not bad. They're just not my type.
They're just not your type. Okay, fair enough. But this is actually the movie I wanted you to watch first. I love this movie. This is actually the first movie I watched when the pandemic started, and it is still in my head now. Funny enough, I haven't rewatched it since. And the reason why I haven't rewatched it since, you ever get those times where you love a movie so much, but you're scared if you watch it the second time?
It's not good anymore. That's how I feel about The Little Mermaid too.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, it's here, and it is The Old Guard.
It sounds like I hate it.
Charlize Theron is the main person.
Sounds like I'm gonna hate it.
Nope, she's stuck watching it. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in again, guys. We will see you guys again soon. Comment down below. Let's see if her rating is going to be at least more than a 7.
Comment down below what you think my rating is going to be and what you think hers is.
Okay. That's a good one. We're probably going to be maybe on 2 ends of the spectrum. But my goal is going to be to try to get her to like one of my movies that's not a rom-com. Okay, anyways, take care, guys. Key out.
Treasure out.